Okay, guys, today I'm gonna actually do a little video here. So, because my PS4 has a mind of its own and won't let me stream Skyrim or any other game at this moment because, well, the internet also hates me, I decided do a little story time to make up for that to some degree. I'm gonna do it over Skyrim gameplay. I'm just recording openly and trying my best at it. So, today's actually a story about when I was in middle school and about this guy who thought it would be a great idea to get in my face, and the end result. To say I was bullied in middle school was kind of an understatement. I was actually, and I still am somewhat, overweight. I couldn't control my weight. I had tried really hard. I mean, Christ almighty, I did keto and everything else, and as a woman, it's just not easy to keep off. I found out years later, way many years later after that, almost a decade later, that I do suffer from a condition known as PCOS, which to some degree makes it harder to lose weight. Okay, so back then I used to be very insecure about my weight. It used to be the one thing that gets to me, and to some degree to this day, it still kind of gets to me. Being called fat or, chunky doesn't really bug me. It's more of just seeing the number on the scale upsets me. So, this happened again years ago. So, I mean, I had been coming home from school crying, going to school crying. I just hated it so much. I mean, teachers with their whole zero tolerance thing. It's stupid. I had tried to be polite, ignore them, which I hate that advice to some degree because I've been told, ignore them. I'm like, I did. I tried to ignore them. They're going to try harder to tick me off, dude. That's not really how that works. Teachers just give the stupidest advice sometimes. So, on with the story. So, it starts off with me in environmental science. We're doing a thing about chemical bonding. We had to go around with a card with part of an equation on it, and we had to see if negative and positive bonds would go. So we'd write the equation down on the paper and just go around the room. I just, being in a relatively good mood that day, was like, ha, hey, who wants to bond with me? As a joke. All right. So this short guy, one of my main bullies, we're going to call him Damien. Damien proceeds to say, nobody wants to bond with your fat ass, Ariel. I'm like, I just give him the dirtiest look and I'm like, and nobody wants to bond with your short little butt, you know? So I struck a nerve with this guy, Damien. I struck a nerve with him because he would constantly insult my weight. I insulted his height as a retort because I can't stand him. Now I've been the same height since middle school. I'm 5 foot 3.5 inches tall, 5'4" according to my state ID. So I'm about 5 foot. We're just gonna say 5'4" for this story. Now this guy, Damien, he was actually about a foot shorter than me. He only went up to my chest. Well, after that retort, he obviously got very butthurt, got real aggravated. I took a jab at his height, which, okay, men out there, height does not matter. Don't let a 4'10" girl tell you that they don't want to date you because you're not 6 foot. Okay? Don't be upset about that. Your height is perfect. Okay? You're perfect the way you are, sir. Same with you, ladies. Same with you. Okay, so I end up minding my business and I'm going around the room. I'm about 2 equations in. I'm writing the equations. When Damien decides it would be a great idea while I'm hunched over and writing something down to get in my face. He makes this brilliant idea that I should get in her face and tick her off more. Now, this is about 7th grade, I think, or 8th grade, I can't remember. All I know is I'm sitting there and I'm annoyed, all right? I'm just not in the mood that day, all right? My mood is just ruined. I just want to get through life. So this guy gets in my face, and so I take a deep breath. I look irritated and I just kind of breathe out my nose and I say, Damien, will you please get out of my face? Now, here's the thing. I said please, but let's make it abundantly clear. The way I said that, the way I said it, the tone of voice I used, and my body language, and my facial expression, well, I did say please get out of my face. What that really translates to is, boy, you better get the F out of my face or so help me. But what does he do? Does he A, decide to back off, B, say some other smart crap, or C, just walk away? If you guessed that he decided to say some more smart crap, oh yes, he leaned into my face until he's about a centimeter or two away from my face, and Damien says, and I quote, "What will you do if I don't? You fat fucking bitch." It was at that point I stand up straight because I'm hunched over, back up a little, crack my wrist and my knuckles, and I say, I'm going to hit you. I didn't even say that. I just looked at him. Now, I acted like I was going to punch him at first. I was originally just going to fake him out, see if he'd move. Because here's the thing. I have asthma and I'm overweight. I can't run to save my life. Even to this day, I can't. To the gym teacher who made me run the mile, please go F yourself. So no, I decide, so he's just standing there with that cocky grin, thinking I'm not going to do it. So the first one, no, I fake punch him. I'm act like I'm going to. But then I realized, ha, this stupid idiot, he's not running. He's not running. Damien is not going to run. So I say, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to frickin' put him in this place. I'm sick and tired of everyone ticking me off. So what do? I then proceed to go as hard as I can, wind my arm back, punch him. All you hear is you hear a smack. I pull my fist away, you hear a pop. Now, the cocky little smirk on his face was gone, and his eyes were freaking watering. Now, out of all logic, the girl who had gotten in my face last time was near me, just standing there horrified that, yeah, I just punched this guy. So, I just kind of smile at him, tilt my head to the side, and then proceed to turn around and walk away like nothing's going to happen. It's dead silent in the classroom, okay? Like, everyone's just shocked, standing there mortified. So, the next words that come out of Damien's mouth are, "Did you not see this?" And I quote, "This bitch just fucking hit me. This bitch just fucking hit me." So proceeds to run around the room screaming this profanity. And I'm just like, and so we're going to call my teacher Mr. Rue. I don't want to actually use his name. Mr. Rue, my science teacher, looks up and he just has this shocked expression on his face that says, "Oh no, I definitely did not see what happened." Well, and then I think one of the student teachers is taking me to the office, kind of pushing me. I actually slap their hand away. I'm like, I'm walking, because I don't care that I'm going to the principal's office. I've had enough. At that point, I was like, let the school expel me, please. I'm not in the freaking mood. I'm sick of it, and I wasn't a troublesome kid, all right? I was relatively well behaved. I haven't even gotten detention. Well, Damien ends up in the principal's office. I end up dealing with the athletic director because I guess he's under the principal. I don't know why, but the athletic director's there. So the athletic director is like, oh, hey, he's like, so you want to tell me what happened? Which, I'm sorry, that's the stupidest question ever. I'm sorry, I hate when they do that. I don't know what it is. But he actually looks tense because we're going to call him Mr. Andrew. Mr. Andrew just kind of looks scared. And he's just kind of like, because he had not expected this. All teachers that had heard about it were just kind of in shock that I had finally, snippety snapped. Because usually I tried to be polite, say hi to everyone, do what I can, go about my day. But no, I snippety snapped. And so I proceed to tell him, he's like, so, what happened? And I'm like, well, Damien got in my face, and I censored it when I told him what he said. And he's like, he got in my face. He wouldn't get out of my face. Da 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 da. I've been coming to school and going home crying for the past 3 months, and I'm sick of everyone's crap. So, yeah, I punched him square in the face. And Mr. Andrew, the biggest thing that grind my gears about this, like boiled my blood, was he's like, "Don't you think Mr. Damien's dad would have said something if we had told?" I'm like, first of all, that's not how that works. Chances are, when your kid is being a complete and utter jerk, it's usually because the parents never taught them to be a decent human being and treat others the way they want to be treated. All right? Like, here's the thing. I'm not really mean to people. And the reason why is my mother made it abundantly clear to just try to treat others the way you want to be treated. But at the same time, if anyone gives you crap, throw it right back, sir. You know, my mom wasn't even mad, which I'll go into how my mom was in a minute. So I decide, I look at him. I'm like, it's obvious Mr. So and so's dad, Mr. Damien's dad, didn't obviously teach him how to treat people. And he just looks nervous and he's looking down at the ground like a kid that did something wrong. He's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah. I was mad. I'm like, give me a write up, expel me. I don't care. And I told him one last thing. He's like, Miss Ariel, I'm like, I'm going to say one thing. If you expect me to apologize, boy, you are dead wrong. Which, thank God they didn't make me apologize. Thank God. Because I'm sorry. I don't apologize for things that I don't do, that I'm not sorry for. All right? Being honest here. So, of course, he's like, all right, so we're going to have to give you a write up, call your mom, da da da. All right. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's what it is. I don't care. My first major offense. And I think this was seventh grade now that I'm thinking about it. So I'm stuck in the office and I had to be escorted to lunch like I'm some horrible criminal. And a lot of people asked me, did you hit Damien? Which, here's the thing about Damien. Damien was not well liked. He had a reputation for being kind of a douche. So a lot of people were asking me and laughing about it. They thought it was downright hilarious. So on my way back, I grabbed like a chicken patty and whatnot from the frickin' lunch. I had to eat the school lunch. I grew up poor. I couldn't bring my own lunch, do that, da da da. So I'm walking back there, and the funny thing is, I actually heard the principal yelling in the hallway for some reason, and he was actually yelling at Damien. He's like, "You have some nerve. You need to treat people right." Ah! And I'm like, I just kind of ignored it. It was awkward. Like, I didn't get to see the entire thing because of where the office is located, but I took a peek around the corner on the way, and he's just yelling and screaming and then says, "Get in my office," yelling at Damien, which, you know what? That's hilarious to me. And the funniest part is, I actually did not get in that much trouble. I actually, believe it or not, only got suspended off school suspension for one single day. And the funniest part is, my mother was not mad. My mom has this thing where it's like, I don't know if your parents are like this, but it's like, you can only fight if you have a valid reason. Don't put up with anyone's crap. So they call my mom. My mom was I think she was pregnant with my brother at the time. I think she was. I can't remember if she was pregnant with my brother at the time or not, but okay, yeah, she was actually pregnant with my brother. So she's she has to obviously come home and pick me up from school, which I had texted her. I had one of those flip phones back then, but I text her and I'm like, "Yeah, mom, I got in trouble, just so you know," which, people are like surprised that I did that. I'm like, "Look, I figured my mom wouldn't care. I just, again, wanted her to have the heads up." So she gets a call from the principal, and he's like, "Look, your daughter got into a fight with a student, And of course, my mom's like, wait, she's trying to hold back her laughter because she laughs at the most inappropriate times. She's like, wait, was the student male or female? And it's like, it was a boy. And my mom's like, obviously on the phone, trying not to laugh. She's like, she's doing that. I can't tell if you heard that or the mic picked it up. So she's laughing. She is dying laughing. So she's like, okay, I'll be right there to discuss it. And she died laughing as soon as she hung up. So I end up getting picked up by my mom, and my mom, my poor mom, she's got to keep a straight face. And she goes, yes, I understand that you have your violence is not tolerated and da da da, something stupid to seem like a responsible parent, like she obviously doesn't condone this behavior. Well, after that, she ends up just dying laughing to that. So we are walking. She's in pure silence. She's dressed nicely. We're in pure silence. So we're walking down the hall. It's dead silent. And I'm just internally, I have anxiety. I know my mom was probably not going to be mad, but that's the first time I ever did something major that got me in trouble, finger quotes. So I'm just like, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. So we're walking out of there. And as soon as, because those glass metal doors that like close and lock close, like you hear that click, as soon as that thing clicks and locks close, she just burst out laughing, like tears in her eyes level of laughing. My heavily pregnant mother was laughing. And she says, you gotta tell me the details. I'm like, okay, Mom, okay, I'll tell you the details. So, it didn't matter. We were fine. So she's like, here, we'll go home. Let's go home and, chill and da da da. Well, I got home. Her boyfriend at the time was nagging me, like, you could have gone to juvie and it's horrible. And I'm just like, yeah, and I could have sued the school. But hey, man, here we are. So, with that said, in the end, I got suspended for a day. The principal was relatively cool about it on my side, luckily. Heck, even the next year when I was supposed to get detention for having 3 tardies because we had a weird policy, he just ripped up the detention slip and said I was a good kid and to go on back to class, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, thank you, man, I appreciate it. So, in the end, okay, so Damien obviously had punishment enough for me hitting him, but Damien never talked crap again. There were a few bullies who had attempted to talk crap to me. I ended up at one point, one of them was like, "Oh, why'd you punch Damien? Why'd you punch Damien?" And I'm like, I just pick up a chair and I'm like, "You want to fight, bro?" And they would just back off immediately. I told him, what I did to Damien, I'll make it. I'll make it seem like an accident. That was what I was gonna say for that. So Damien ended up with like a black eye. I didn't technically break his nose, but his nose had become dislocated, the cartilage of it. My former friend at the time, I think her name was Sierra, she actually popped his nose back into place. It apparently bled real bad after I had got sent to the office, but yeah, he was not having a good day. In fact, I think it like it traumatized him a bit, honestly. He actually at one point, I think the day after I was suspended and came back from school, I'm just walking down the hall, he's in my path, he froze and actually ran into a nearby bathroom out of panic. He thought I was gonna hit him again, but it's one of those things where it's like, nah man, I got my point across. I'm good. But no. That's what happened. He learned his lesson. He didn't talk crap to me ever again. And actually, I think he did better after that because someone, brought his ego down a peg. Anyway, if you like that video, feel free to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I mostly do gameplays and live streams. I'll probably be doing another Among Us stream soon. I really appreciate all the support you guys have given me lately. And, but yeah, anyway, I hope y'all are staying safe. Have a great one, and peace out.